Here's something most gardening advice gets wrong about container gardening. Every spring, millions of gardeners fill their pots with beautiful plants, spend real money, put in real effort, and then watch those same plants die over winter, forcing them to start all over again the following year. It's expensive, it's frustrating, and honestly, it's completely avoidable. Because here's the truth. Not every pot plant has to be an annual. There are perennials, tough, beautiful, garden-worthy perennials that will survive winter in a container, come back stronger in spring, and reward you year after year with almost no intervention. Today, I'm sharing my 10 favorites, 10 never-fail perennials that are genuinely built for pot life and that actually come back. Let's go. Number 1, and honestly number 1 by a significant margin for shade containers, is the Hosta. If you have a shaded patio, a north-facing balcony, or a dim doorstep that you've given up on making beautiful, Hosta is the answer. These plants produce some of the most architectural, most dramatic foliage of any perennial. Massive ribbed leaves in blue-green, gold, cream-edged, and two-tone varieties, and they do it in the deepest shade that defeats almost everything else. Why it never fails in pots? Hostas are actually better suited to container growing than most people realize. In a pot, you control the moisture, the feeding, and crucially, the drainage, which prevents the root rot that can affect them in waterlogged ground. They go fully dormant in winter, die back to nothing, and re-emerge in spring looking better than ever, year after year after year. Why it actually comes back? Hostas have a robust, dense root crown that survives cold winters easily in a container. In spring, those tightly coiled shoots push up with extraordinary energy. It's one of the most satisfying moments in the container gardening calendar. Tip: in very cold climates, move the pot to a sheltered spot, against a wall or into an unheated garage for winter. The roots, not the top growth, are what need protecting. Number 2 is Astilbe. And if you want feathery, fluffy plumes of color in a shaded container, nothing comes close. Astilbe produces tall, airy flower spikes in shades of red, pink, white, and purple that rise elegantly above deeply cut fern-like foliage. In a large pot, it looks genuinely spectacular, like a little piece of a woodland garden you can place wherever you need it. Why it never fails in pots? Astilbe actually prefers the consistent moisture that a well-watered container provides. In the ground, it can struggle in dry summers, but in a pot, you're in control of watering, and it thrives. The key is keeping it consistently moist and not letting it dry out completely. Why it actually comes back? Astilbe dies back fully in winter and reemerges reliably from its root crown every spring. The dormant root system is very cold hardy, and in a container, it establishes an increasingly large, dense root mass that produces more and more flower spikes each year. By year 3, a single Astilbe in a large pot is a genuinely impressive sight. Tip: divide your Astilbe every 3 to 4 years in early spring, before the shoots emerge, to keep it vigorous and flowering at its best. Each division can go into a new pot, giving you free plants to expand your collection. Number 3, Lavender. The fragrance, the silvery foliage, the purple flower spikes, the bees. Lavender in a pot is one of the most beautiful and satisfying things you can grow on a terrace or balcony. And here's something crucial that most gardeners don't know. Lavender actually performs better in a container than in the ground in many situations. Why? Because you can give it exactly what it needs: sharp drainage, full sun, and lean soil. Conditions that are often hard to replicate in a typical garden bed. Why it never fails in pots? Lavender hates wet roots, and a pot with good drainage gives you complete control over that. Use a gritty, free-draining compost mix, make sure the pot has drainage holes, and lavender will reward you with years of flowering without complaint. Why it actually comes back. Lavender is a woody perennial that doesn't die back in winter. It holds its silvery gray foliage year-round, giving you something beautiful even in the coldest months. Each spring, fresh new growth pushes from the base, and the whole plant bursts back into life. After flowering, always cut lavender back by about 1/3, into the green growth, never into the woody stems. This is the single most important thing you can do to keep it compact, healthy, and coming back strongly for years. Number 4 is Coreopsis, also called tickseed. And if you want the most reliably cheerful, almost never out of flower pot plant going, this is your answer. Coreopsis produces a continuous stream of bright yellow, gold, or orange daisy-like flowers from early summer right through to autumn. It doesn't do big flush and fade cycles. It just keeps producing new flowers week after week with barely a pause. Why it never fails in pots? Coreopsis is genuinely one of the most forgiving perennials you can grow. It tolerates poor soil, drought, heat, and neglect with remarkable cheerfulness. In a container, as long as it gets full sun and decent drainage, it simply doesn't complain. It's the plant equivalent of a low-maintenance friend who always shows up. Why it actually comes back? Coreopsis is a hardy perennial with a persistent root crown that survives winter reliably in a container. In spring, it pushes fresh new growth quickly and is usually back in flower earlier than almost anything else in your container garden. Deadhead regularly, even just running your fingers through the plant, and you'll be rewarded with dramatically more flowers. A few minutes every week keeps Coreopsis performing at its absolute best all season long. Number 5 is Heuchera, coral bells. And if I had to pick one plant that delivers the most visual interest in a container for the least effort, this might be it. Heucheras are grown primarily for their foliage, and that foliage comes in a color range that is almost unbelievable. Purple, caramel, silver, lime green, bronze, burgundy, spotted, ruffled. There is literally a Heuchera for every color scheme, every style, every season. And in spring, they throw up tall, airy stems of tiny bell-shaped flowers that add another layer of delicate beauty above the leaves. Why it never fails in pots? Heucheras are shallow-rooted, which makes them perfectly suited to container life. They don't need deep soil, they don't need rich feeding, and they're equally at home in sun or shade, a flexibility that very few plants can match. Why it actually comes back? Heucheras are semi-evergreen. In mild winters, they hold most of their foliage year-round, giving you color even in the bleakest months. The crown is very cold-hardy and reliably produces fresh new leaves each spring, often with even more vivid coloring than the previous year. Every 2 to 3 years, Heucheras can become leggy. The crown rises above the soil surface. Simply lift the plant, trim the bare stem, and replant it a little deeper. It will rejuvenate completely and come back stronger. Number 6 is Sedge, ornamental carex. And this is the plant that professional garden designers quietly rely on for containers that look good every single day of the year. Sedge is a grass-like perennial with fine, arching foliage and colors ranging from deep bronze and amber to bright gold and lime green. It adds movement, texture, and an elegant, natural quality to any container. And unlike most flowering plants, it earns its place in the pot even when nothing else is blooming. Why it never fails in pots. Carex is extraordinarily tolerant. It handles sun and shade, wet and dry, and it looks good in every season. In winter, when everything around it has died back, sedge holds its color and form and keeps your containers looking considered and alive rather than abandoned. Why it actually comes back. Sedge is a true perennial that simply never stops. It doesn't go dormant like hostas or die back like Astilbe. It just keeps growing, quietly and steadily, year-round. An established carex in a pot becomes an increasingly beautiful, fuller plant with each passing year. Every 2 to 3 years, divide your sedge clump in early spring. Pull it apart into several sections and repot each one. This keeps the plant vigorous, prevents the center from dying out, and gives you multiple new plants for free.
Number 7 is Echinacea, the coneflower. And this is the perennial that brings big, bold, wildlife garden energy to your container display. Coneflowers produce those iconic daisy-like flowers with a raised, domed central cone in shades of purple pink, white, orange, and red, and they bloom from midsummer all the way deeper into autumn. Bees and butterflies absolutely love them, which means a pot of coneflowers doesn't just look beautiful, it buzzes and flutters with life. Why it never fails in pots? Echinacea is drought tolerant once established, handles heat brilliantly, and thrives in full sun with well-drained soil, conditions that a good container setup delivers perfectly. It's one of the toughest perennials available, and that toughness translates directly into container success. Why it actually comes back? Echinacea has a strong, deep taproot that stores energy through winter and powers those fresh new shoots in spring. In a container, this taproot establishes itself reliably over the first season and then supports increasingly vigorous flowering in subsequent years. In autumn, leave the seed heads standing rather than cutting them back. They're architecturally beautiful, they feed birds through winter, and they self-seed lightly, meaning you may find bonus new plants appearing around the base of your pot come spring.
Number 8 is Agapanthus, the African lily. And this is the statement plant, the one that makes visitors stop and ask what it is. Agapanthus produces tall, elegant stems topped with spectacular globe-shaped clusters of tubular flowers in brilliant shades of blue, violet, and white. In a large pot, it's genuinely architectural, the kind of plant that transforms a terrace or doorstep from ordinary to extraordinary. Why it never fails in pots. Here's the counterintuitive secret about Agapanthus. It actually prefers to be slightly pot-bound. Crowded roots trigger more flower production. In the ground, plants can spread freely and sometimes flower less as a result. But in a container, those naturally restricted roots work in your favor, producing more and more blooms each year. Why it actually comes back. Agapanthus stores energy in its thick, fleshy roots and reemerges strongly every spring. The strap-like evergreen foliage of many varieties means it looks presentable year-round, even between flowering seasons. Resist repotting Agapanthus too often. Let it become genuinely crowded in its container. A tight, root-filled pot is exactly what triggers the best flowering. Only move it up a pot size when flowering starts to decline.
Number 9 is Catmint. And if you want a pot plant that looks effortlessly beautiful, smells wonderful, attracts pollinators non-stop, and requires almost no work from you, this is the one. Catmint forms soft, mounding clumps covered in tiny tubular flowers that together create a gorgeous lavender blue haze from late spring right through to autumn. The silvery green foliage is attractive even when not in flower, and the whole plant has a soft, relaxed quality that looks beautiful in almost any container style, from terracotta to modern glazed pots. Why it never fails in pots. Catmint is drought tolerant, sun-loving, and completely unfussy about soil quality. In a container, it's arguably easier to grow than in the ground. You just need sun, decent drainage, and occasional watering. That's genuinely it. Why it actually comes back? Catmint is a fully hardy perennial that dies back in winter and reemerges reliably every spring, usually earlier than expected. Each year, the clump returns a little larger and more floriferous than the one before, rewarding patients beautifully. After the first big flush of flowers fades in midsummer, cut the whole plant back hard, down to a few inches from the base. It sounds drastic, but within 3 to 4 weeks, you'll have a fresh, compact plant covered in new buds and ready for a full second wave of blooms, all the way into autumn.
We finish with my personal favorite, and the one plant on this list that earns its place in your containers more than perhaps any other, the Hellebore, or Lenten rose. Here's why it's last, but absolutely not least. Hellebores bloom in late winter and early spring, often pushing out their extraordinary nodding flowers in January, February, and March, right through frost and snow. They bloom during the deepest, darkest part of the gardening year, when absolutely nothing else is flowering and your soul is desperately craving color. Why it never fails in pots? Hellebores are woodland natives, perfectly adapted to shade, cool temperatures, and the kind of consistent, moist but well-drained conditions that a good container provides. They're tough, they're slug-resistant, they're deer-resistant, and they handle cold that would destroy most other plants without blinking. Why it actually comes back? Hellebores are exceptionally long-lived perennials. A well-grown plant in a container can thrive and flower reliably for 20 years or more. They don't go dormant in winter. They simply wait and then bloom. Every single year, without fail. Position Hellebore pots somewhere you'll walk past daily in late winter, near your front door, outside a window you look out of every morning. That's when their magic is most powerful, and you don't want to miss a single day of those extraordinary flowers. So there they are, 10 perennials that are genuinely built for pot life. Plants that survive winter, come back stronger in spring, and reward you year after year, without starting from scratch every season. The old approach? Filling containers with annuals every spring, spending money, doing it all again the following year, doesn't have to be your approach anymore. With the right perennials, your containers become long-term investments that get better with age. More established roots, more flowers, more impact every single year. Whether you have a sun-baked terrace, a shaded balcony, or a single pot by your front door, there is a plant on this list that belongs in your garden. Plant once, enjoy forever. If this was helpful, please hit like and subscribe for more container gardening guides and seasonal planting advice. I'll see you in the next one. Happy gardening.